We are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lajja. Welcome to Saat Ki Baat, Lajja ke Saath. And you all know about Lajja, but I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about Lajja and what the kind of role Lajja plays in people's lives. And you're wondering why Riddhi is seen over there, because normally I keep my guests in the background, but I'll tell you why she's there. Uh, okay, so Lajja is a forum that gives women a non-judgmental space to be themselves. And this year, this month of September is a month where we are focusing on one of the key aspects that a woman, really plays, the role of a mother and of a role and the role of bringing up emotionally, mentally strong children. When you think of a child who's well rounded, we think of the parents, but we often, the picture that comes to our mind is of the mother. So, this topic is very, very special to Riddhi, to me, because we are mothers, and also because we see Lajja as our own child. Correct me if I'm wrong, Riddhi, but I have always felt that kind of a connect, that Lajja hamara bachcha hai. So, so for all of you who are new to Lajja, Lajja is a forum that gives women a non-judgmental space to be themselves, a place where they can open up their hearts, they can speak out their hearts, they can be themselves, and share. They can be inspired by other women, and going forth, they can also inspire other women. So that is what we do at Lajja. Now, this talk with Riddhi over here is unique because we are talking about bringing up emotionally strong children. And the reason why Riddhi is here with us is because Riddhi is a child psychologist. She's a parent coach. She's somebody who has interacted with more than 5,000 odd children over the years in her trainings and the individual camps, her individual counselings that she does with children. So, who better to talk about children? And when we talk about emotionally strong children, I think we are also talking about emotionally strong parents. So here is Riddhi, who's going to share all of those insights, and she's going to answer my questions. She's going to answer your questions. So feel free to shoot out as many questions as possible. So Riddhi, welcome to Saat Ki Baat Lajja ke Saath.
Thank you so much, Vanna. It's my first time with you, and I'm actually tense because when you ask questions, ना जब बड़े से line से questions आते हैं. But I'm glad that I'm here and sharing the screen with you.
Absolutely. So let us start off with the very first question. What do you mean by emotionally strong children? Is there a correlation with mentally strong children also?
So when we're talking about emotionally strong children, the children who are emotionally strong are able to express themselves. You know, they are the children who has got enough space in their life within the family structure, wherein they get space to share, to opine, to say something, and to even be in their own personal emotional state as well. So just give an example. If a child is crying sometimes, the parent will go and ask multiple times, क्या हुआ, क्यों रो रहा है, लड़की है क्या रो रहा है, या आजकल तो लड़कियां भी नहीं रोती है. So these are some of the sentences which parent tends to, out of love and affection, they tend to constantly talk to the child. But in all this love and affection which is shown to the child, we are stopping our children to express. We are stopping our children to understand the emotions and feelings. And that's where we are not allowing our child to even understand that what is feeling sad, what is feeling anxious, what is feeling fearful, or what it is to cry. So it is very important that when a child is emotionally intelligent, is a child who can express well, who can talk, and who doesn't have barriers, or who doesn't have constant tags and negs from the parents or any other people. And that's where the child is emotionally strong.
Interesting. So, coming to the second part of the question, when you say emotionally, you are also saying that they are mentally strong.
To some extent, yes. To be mentally strong, there are multiple reasons. So when I'm talking about a child who is mentally strong, is a child, yes, but emotional intelligence is one of the core in it. Because when a child is emotional and intelligent, the child not only understands his or her emotions, but the child is able to understand the other person as well, right? And the true leaders are somebody who understands the other person. They are the true leaders, right? So a leader is not somebody who's going to talk about himself or herself, or it is going to talk about the language of my way or highway. But leader is somebody who connects with the other person, understand the other person, who grows and make the other person grow as well, right? So somebody who's a leader is also mentally strong. So I would also say that a person emotional intelligence is the core of everything in life. Say it be your physical growth, say it be
Absolutely.
your emotional growth, say it be your mental wellness, right? It's the base of it.
Absolutely. Now, like I do for all my other speakers, before I sat, land this talk with you, I read up a little bit more about, emotional intelligence, emotionally strong children, and however many articles I read, it all, they all tied down to the parents. So they are most of the articles are talking about the parenting styles. The way a parent reacts to the child is how the child is going to develop. So then, in which case, let us then talk about the parents. What kind of parenting is needed to make children really emotionally, mentally strong?
It is very important for a parent to give a very non-judgmental space to the child to grow and share. The parents who have lived that life in their young during their young age are the ones who are able to give that. The parents who have had a lot of restrictions in their personal life before the marriage are not able to give it, or are the ones who give it, but totally, kind of a very structured freedom they give to the children. So any sort of structured freedom is also not going to work. You need to give a very non-judgmental space. So, for example, let me give you an example. A lady, the mother, before her marriage, or probably in her young age, she must have the parents who are constantly telling her कि इतने बजे आपको घर पे आ जाना है, या आप कहाँ गए थे. There are a lot of questions to be a lady is asked, a girl is asked, or probably the girl is said that if you do something, this will happen. If you do something, this is going to happen. So what is structure, and what fears and everything is associated with the lady. So whatever the lady does, she thinks twice from all the angles of life, and then she will initiate something. Okay, she will
Absolutely.
replicate exactly her upbringing with her child. So she will
Okay.
start giving a very structured instructions to the child, and that way the mother or the father is going to indirectly instill fears also in the child, right? Because it is given very structured way of growth is given. I don't say structured growth is wrong, but instilling fears with some instructions, it's certainly not correct. Okay, तो अगर आपने बच्चों को बोला कि आपको ये काम कर देना है, कि ऐसा आपको नीचे जाके खेलना है, यू प्ले, बट व्हेन यू से आप नीचे जा रहे हो तो दिस आर द इंस्ट्रक्शंस. ओके, इससे बाहर नहीं जाना है, ये नहीं करना है. एंड इफ द चाइल्ड, बाय गॉड फॉरबिड, इफ द चाइल्ड डज इट एंड चाइल्ड कम्स अप एंड सेज दैट आई ट्राइड दिस, and then a complete negative feedback is given, or the sharings or the shouts is given, is what needs to be stopped. So the parent who has lived that life in the younger age is going to give that parenting only to the child, unless the parent is an aware parent and for himself. Otherwise this is going to like. So she gives a very non-judgmental space to the to express, to share. It is okay, but the child should be given space to share, right? Non-judgmental space to share, and non-judgmental listening as well. This too is very important in parenting this day specifically, because when the world is going towards AI, if the parent doesn't take care, the child will tend to have frustrations or mental health issue at an early age of life. So you need to give the space to the child to express, to live the life, to flourish, to be creative as well.
All of this sounds very, very nice, and I think, but when it comes to being practical, sometimes it is difficult as a parent. Now, I have been interacting with you, working with you for so long, and I know that you have often shared tips with me. And me as a parent, I know there have been many times that I have failed to implement that. At the back of my mind, I know ye galat ho raha hai, but then that instinct to react, that is what I don't know how we will, as a parent, how we learn to do that ourselves. Now, one of the factors that I learned when I was reading through was about codependency. So one of the articles, a research article, said that when there is codependency, then children tend to be emotionally very weak. Now, I don't know where that is. Of course, there wasn't much in that research article, but then this word codependency kind of stuck to me, because in India we are still, we have co-sleeping, where children still sleep with the parents till they are of a, 10, 11 years old. So in such a case, this codependency is bound to be there. So how do we deal with that? How do we react to that? Or how do we use that to build up our children's emotional strength?
So, first thing what I would like to address here is, Varna, when you say that you are aware but you're not able to implement, so you, not as you per se, but any parent, so they are aware but not able to implement, is when it's okay to create mistakes. Okay, it's okay to make mistakes, or you know it's okay to even shout sometimes, but it is not okay if you don't acknowledge your mistakes in front of your child. It's not okay if you don't share
Ah,
your emotional imbalance with your child. It's not okay that you don't explain your child that why this happened, or a word sorry. Okay, so this is very important, that not to get
absolutely.
in a guilt zone, but just talk it out with a child. It doesn't mean that we have, as a psychologist, I have not created mistakes. I've done my mistakes, my share of mistakes as well. But there have been times that I've upfront gone and told my little one that, you know what, uh, this is my mistake and I'm sorry for it. And the children do understand. So create such a emotionally strong bonding with your child that एक दूसरे को आप समझ सको. Now coming to the codependency, yes, um, we live in this, specifically in Bombay. We live in matchbox. The houses are matchbox, right? And everything is between that four walls of the house. It is very important that even if it's a small house, you give space to each other, because the codependency is not only between children, but it's also between the spouses. So when one parent doesn't give that space, or it is the other parent is much dependent, I would not use the word codependent here, but one parent is much dependent on the other parent as well, the emotional the emotional imbalance tend to happen. So let me give an example. There have been couples wherein one of the partner dominates a lot. Okay, in terms of ऐसे ही होना है, ऐसे ही करना है, this has to be like this. So when it is so much dominating, one of the partner is very dominating. It's where the within the family structure also, it is so much of codependency happening, because one of the partner is very dominating. It is very important for the spouses to be mutually deciding. Okay, that's where I always say that when you are talking about codependence, it's very important that we have family time. Family time helps to solve the issues. Family times helps to explain each other. Family times helps to give enough space to each member of the family, including the child, not making the child a special person, somebody who is like at a higher pedestal, but he is a part of the family. And it gives space to each and every member of the family. That's where there would be less issue of codependency. And when there is less codependency, the child has, enough uh, understanding of self, of the emotion, and the child is able to decide, lead, take decisions on his or her behalf as well. And it starts by the age of 2. So before also, while the
Wow.
child is in the womb, you need to talk to your child about everything. But while the child is 2.5, and you see that the child is little is able to understand few things, give options to your child to decide after that, out of that options, right? Now the option should be something which is beneficial to the child. Both the options should be benefiting to the child, but you need to ensure that जो भी दो options में तो बच्चा ले उसको decide कर दे दीजिए. Say it be clothes, say it be food. So not giving the food what the child asks, but before that you can just create a menu with the child's like and your likes as well, and create a menu during the family time. So accordingly, the child is able to decide. You're creating a decision power in the child, and along with that, the child is not dependent on you to take personal decisions. But the child is always emotionally connected to come back to you and discuss, but not dependent on you. Because when there is a
This is
dependency, there is lot of lack of self-confidence in the person. Say it be an adult, so say it be a child.
This is interesting. So first and foremost, this clears out the doubt that when we are talking about emotionally strong children, we are not talking about children जो बात बात पे रोते नहीं हैं. You know, when we talk of emotionally strong children, the first thought is, अच्छा ये बच्चा जो हमेशा strong रहे, जो रोएगा नहीं, जो सारे challenges अपने, you will face on. So when we are talking about emotionally strong child, we are talking about a child who's capable of taking decisions and capable of knowing what is right from wrong. So I'm so glad that you cleared that out right at the beginning, because I know that there are many parents who have this misconception and emotionally, because this is something that I have faced, as a child growing up. I have been a very strong, opinionated person, which still stays. So the first song, you are very emotionally strong, तुमको तो रोना नहीं आता है. But at the back of my mind, I would think I too want to cry, but I am not opening myself out. It's a different thing. So this is amazing. An emotionally strong child does not mean somebody who doesn't cry, but it means somebody who knows right from wrong. This is
Yes.
this is so amazing. We have a couple of people who have joined us. We have Bhavna who says hello. We have Hema. We have Priyanka, and we have Dina and Bijal also joining us. So
Wow.
lovely to see all of them here. Uh, okay, now the next thing that I wanted to understand is, when you talk about a child who's strong, mentally also strong, is this the child who can face, bullies? Is this a child who can face uh, an unfortunate incident in life? Is this a person who can stand up for?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The child who is emotionally intelligent, who is strong enough to understand her or his emotions, is the person who can handle a bully, who can stand up for his or her wants, and they are the same people who are going to help others as well, because they understand what emotions and feelings I as a person undergo, and what will happen if the other person, what the other person must be experiencing at that particular moment. So they are the ones who will not react often. They are the ones who will talk instead of reacting, right? They are the ones who will not throw tantrums, but they are the ones who will talk it out, share, connect, and make it simple for everybody, right? So yes, they are the ones who can handle bully, where they are the ones if something untoward happens within the family as well. I have seen children who have handled it beautifully, who have stood by their parents and supported them. But for them, for that it is very important that an emotionally intelligent child is raised by the parent. Otherwise, there have been times when something happens between the spouses as well, it badly affects a child.
Okay, so then let us understand that if you have a child who is very sensitive, is very gets upset over any little thing that happens, how do you, as a parent, try to bring the child out of that kind of a space and make the child more strong?
So before I touch on to this, Vandana, Um, I would like to touch upon two things which will lead the answer to the same thing which you asked, right? So the
Hmm.
first thing is, if you have a child, what are the things you need to take care to build up emotional intelligence in the child, or to build up emotionally intelligent child, right? So first and very important is, do not punish, dismiss, or scold your child for being emotional. Now, when I say do not punish or scold your child for being emotional, is do not tag your child. Okay, if the child is creating mistakes, if the child is angry, if the child is crying, if the child is, just very anxious or very fearful, do not kind of punish or do not tag the child. Simultaneously, you need to understand that take this opportunity to connect with your child. So the things which seem to be very negative for you in terms of behavior gives you an opportunity to talk to your child, to connect with your child, and make the child understand that this negative emotions can be worked. It's okay to have this emotions. It's okay to feel this emotions, and it's okay to share as well. So here when I say this, negative leads to positivity. Always remember this. So when you are connecting with such children who have been kind of going very emotional often, remember to stay compassionate, remember to be loving, and remember to be kind to your child at that particular moment. And just a
Okay.
smile and a hug solves the purpose. So the children who are really emotional and sensitive, you need to be very careful in dealing with them. Instead of tagging, instead of nagging, you need to be really using that as an opportunity to talk, explain, and connect with your child.
All right. Great. So, now from all of this stems the word resilience. Now, this is a much in demand word now, and much in focus word now. Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi has spoken about it. Our NEP talks about it. Uh, so, how does resilience tie in with all of this?
Lovely. And we have been writing each day on Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook. Lovely.
Yes.
So, a child who is emotionally intelligent is the child who is resilient as well. Remember, that's a direct connect between resilience and emotional intelligence. It's completely interconnected, right? Now, what is resilience? There have been times then when a child fails in something, maybe an act, maybe studies, maybe anything it can be. Okay. So instead of letting the child stay in that space for a longer time, take that opportunity and explain the child that, okay, yeah, this is done. I understand you are hurt. I understand that what you're feeling. Let's talk. And that should lead to making the child understand that whatever situation is, whatever the condition is, whatever the things or the toy is broken, let us think what next. How do we work on this? Okay, so help your child to understand what next, and not let your child stay in that space for a longer time to get into a varied emotional, uh, imbalance kind of thing. I would That's not the correct word, although, but there are different emotions with the child will have that time. Maybe he's anxious because the parent might shout. He is fearful, probably one of the parent might slap the child. He is not he's crying because the toy is broken, or he's got bad marks in the studies, right? So it is very important that at that particular moment, as parents, you need to sit, talk to the child, what happened, why this happened, and now how can we work on it, how do we improve the situation. If that is taught at a younger age, those are the children who can be atmanirbhar, because they know what is resilience. They understand that what next, even if have failures in my life, what next I'm going to have it. So if you saw during this pandemic, Vandana, all those parents And all those children who had understood the word resilience or who had imbibed the word resilience are the ones who could sail through this pandemic or this 5 months.
Absolutely.
The people who had not had that imbibed are the ones who are still stuck there, who have been crying over it, and who have actually not been able to come out of it. I don't say pandemic was not right. I say that's something which never should occur in somebody's life, right? But I would say that take everything as an opportunity and don't get yourself stuck there. But next, what is something which we need to think constantly? And if the parents are doing that, the children are ought to mirror it. They are ought to do it.
Absolutely. Before I go on to next, I want to read out some of the comments. Priyanka Patil says it's so good to watch two beautiful, strong women together. Thank you so much. Arsu P says, good evening, ma'am. Riddhi, ma'am, fabulous and fantastic, lovely, valuable inputs. so, okay, so the key here is communication. From all that you have been telling me, I think that is the one in inference that I'm able to make, that communication is the key for everything. So whether a parent is angry or upset, to be able to communicate that to your child and explain to the child why that certain emotion is there, maybe your child will understand, and maybe you the reciprocation will happen in that sense.
So here I will add something is Vanna, that many times the adults also not able to understand the emotions.
Yes.
Okay. So how would a child do? So give time to each other to understand your emotions, label it. The child should understand कि मैं रो रहा हूँ तो why it is, what is the trigger. Help the child to understand that, because once if the child understands, that will never happen because he knows how to come out of it. But if you have not helped a child to understand, it's where the child will be stuck. And so are adults. I have seen them not able to understand emotions. So many times I come across people, um, अरे people की क्या बात करूं, till I was young, okay, I was during before my college days and my school days, if I'm hungry I never used to understand I'm hungry. So and my temper would go very high when I'm hungry. Eventually I think while I was in 11th, my mom made me sit and she like helped me to understand that when you are hungry you tend to go, high on your temper, so you need to understand when you get hungry. So like me, there would be many people who would not be able to understand. So it needs a hand holding. It needs to be the person needs to be made to understand. The person needs to be uh, help to understand that if this is the situation, how do you work on it? If this is the situation, how do you help your own self to understand? So labeling the self emotions and feelings is very important.
Interesting. So how do you actually help a child, uh, you know, understand this? I remember at one of the at the conference that we had, the Rinse Roundtable conference, one of our panelists had spoken about the language of emotions. So how can we really teach this language of emotion? Because like we have always discussed, if the child is able to understand now, the child will grow on to become an adult and a parent himself or herself, who will probably use all of their learnings for their child. Now the mistakes we are committing right now, hopefully our children will not do that. So how do we teach this language of emotion?
One, it is very important to understand one thing in life as parents. If we tell children how to feel and that differs from what they actually are feeling, the confusion starts there.
Ah,
So let us not give our children the tags or the names to their feelings. Let them understand. We can probe, we can facilitate, we can help them to understand, but let us not tell them how to feel. So there have been times when, um, you know, um, there have been times when a parent would come and say that, मैम ये तो खुशी नहीं होती है, मैंने तो उसको देखा ही नहीं हंसते हुए. Okay, up khushi for the child would be something different. Probably she's very helpful, she is enjoying the company of other people. That doesn't mean that you show your 32 teeth and have a Colgate smile all the time. Okay, so that doesn't mean khushi. So we need to help the child to understand what is khushi, what is anxiety, what is fear, what is hatred, what is jealousy, and let the child emote as the way the child want to. Let us not push them to do it as the way we want the child to do it. Sad है इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि कोने में जाके बैठ जाए और रोते रहे. Sad can be that the child doesn't want to meet somebody, but that doesn't mean the child is not a part of everything. Okay, so the child needs to understand this. Very important. Now, going ahead from here, okay, how do we help the child? So let us help our child to label their emotions. Let them understand. Okay. Reason, when the child is crying badly because the child must have come up, meeting a friend or probably किसी ने उसको मार दिया. आपको कैसे बोलना है? हाँ, किसने मारा? क्यों मारा? ऐसे कैसे कर दिया? No. Instead of doing that, sit with the child and say, I feel you are feeling hurt. I feel you are upset. Okay. So this is how you help your child to understand the emotions. You help your child to come up and give a tag to the emotions he or she is feeling. You are helping the child, but you're not saying that, hey, तू जब रो रहा है ना तब उसका मतलब यही हुआ. That's not the thing you are supposed to do, right? Second thing very important is don't convey judgments or frustrations to your children. So whenever the child is not able to stop the tears or probably is very happy, इतना खुश क्यों दिख रहा है? Okay, ऐसा क्या हो गया that you're so happy? Avoid doing that. It is important that you let the child be in the same space, but you be in the child's shoes and try and not give a judgment, but try to feel the same emotion with the child. That's how you'll be able to help your child. And the most important is do set limits. Okay. When I say limits is, understand one thing, that if your child has hit somebody and come back home, and again, if the child is crying, okay, how do you handle the situation? The child is at fault. But if you're going to take the child is going to come up in this with a problem that, okay, yeah, my mom is telling me. So what you can do is you can tell your child that I understand you're feeling bad. I understand you're hurt. But you know what? Hitting is not correct. So you have addressed the behavior, but along with that, you have also shown the child that I understand your emotions and I understand your feelings. So the word I understand is a very golden words to be used by each and every parent. Say your child is a child, or say your child is an 18-year-old young adult. I understand is something which is supposed to be used by each and every parent.
I understand. I will use this a lot now. We have some comments coming in. We have Arsu who's saying, really, Lajja, entire team was doing great episodes to involve so many women entrepreneurs to share their life journey and do more and more episodes many years. Thank you so much. We have Raju who's sending us hearts. So thank you so much. Okay, now let's, we have been, Lajja has announced Tattva 2020, and we are talking about mental health. So, let us. I want you to give me a small brief on why mental health of children is also very important. Because whatever we talk about resilience, we talk about Atmanirbhar, we talk about self acceptance. It all ties down to a sound mental health of the child, and emotional health is directly connected to mental health. So how should people be focusing on that?
As much as physical health is important, would you allow a ache in your body, or would you allow a knee pain, or would you allow yourself to be going very obese? You will not. Are we there? Okay.
Yeah, we are there.
Mental health is also very, very important, as important as a physical health, right? Now, why is mental health important? Because if you are physically fit, but if you're not mentally fit, you might tend to react often. You might tend to be feeling frustrated about self. You might not be able to accept your own self. You might not be able to trust people. You might not be able to accept other people. You might not be able to grow as the way you should be growing in your life. I'm not talking about money growth, I'm not talking about career growth, but there is a self growth as well in life. Okay, that needs to be done, that needs to be understood, so that for that your personal growth, for your self acceptance, for you to be happy, mental health is very important. What happens when you are constantly sad? What happens when you are constantly feeling angry or jealous about things? What happens when you're constantly feeling that ऐसे कैसे हो गया, मेरे साथ नहीं हुआ, इसका हो गया? If you're constantly in this space, there is some issue which you need to talk it out. Maybe you can work, maybe you can take professional help, but do not let yourself stay in that space, because that is something related to a little unwell, uh, uh, you know, unwell situation in regard to your mental emotional state, I would say. Emotional state.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Uh, we are coming to the end of our session, but before we end, I wanted to, if you could possibly share some tips that our viewers can use when they're dealing with their children. Now, the golden words I understand is stuck on my head, and I'm going to use that often. But other than that, like you have always spoken about journaling, you have spoken about speaking out your emotion. So, how can we help our children? What can we do to help our children, accept their emotions, feelings, accept themselves, and then get stronger?
Okay. So here I would just say one thing, Vandana, because we already shared, I shared few tips, but here it is very important that journaling, when you use the word journaling, is where you do it with your children every day. Probably not every
Okay.
day, then एक दिन छोड़ के alternate day भी आप करोगे तो there is no harm in it. But do journaling, because journaling helps your child to be in here and now. Sorry, able to express, able to feel emotions, and able to let go as well. So, few examples of journaling, few questions which you can be a part of the journaling is, how was your day? Okay, so when I say how was your day, okay, let me ask you one now, how was your day?
My day was good today.
Yeah, so we use the words good, we use the word bad, and we use okay, right? Help your child to understand that life is beyond good, bad, and okay as well. Okay, so this is where the first thing which you can help your child to write. If the child can write, well and good. If not, then you can write for your child. That let's do it together. The first thing is, how was your day? It was not that worthy. I'm going to give my best tomorrow. Okay. Or it was fabulous. Something more beyond good, bad, and okay. Second thing is, what emotions and feelings you had throughout the day. Now why this? Because a normal human being जो नवरस होती है, जो हमारे इंडियन संस्कृति है, नवरस में से एक नॉर्मल पर्सन एटलीस्ट 5 या 6 रस एक्सपीरियंस कर सकता है डे में, एंड दैट ऑल्सो अ चाइल्ड ऑल्सो इज नॉट एन एक्सेप्शन हियर. ओके, so ask your child, what are the emotions and feelings you experience throughout the day. So the child might say, I cried, I felt bad, I felt jealous. Isko kaise ho gaya? Probably the child might not be able to name. Then you help the child to understand. Probably iske paas acha pencil tha, mere paas nahi tha. Yeah, probably his father gave the mobile to him, right? And not to me. So it can be anything, right? Help the child to understand that segment. Okay. Third thing is, which emotion and feelings reoccur to you multiple times. कौन सी तुमको बहुत बार दिन में आई? हैप्पीनेस आई, एंशियस हुआ, ज्यादातर fearful हुए, you were scared of some situations, you were not liking certain things, you were feeling sad. Help your child to understand. The fourth important thing, one emotion or feeling you would like to carry forward. This is how these 4 questions, a short way of journaling, but very important to have a raise a emotionally intelligent child. And nonetheless, if you've missed this doing in the younger age, start doing this with children above 11 and 12 as well. Because if your teen is emotionally intelligent, he'll be able to sail through the years of teenagers when there is achanak a lot of exposure your child gets. and it's a completely a different world the child is put into post the school. So if your child is emotionally intelligent, if the child is grounded, is where the child will be able to sail it through properly and will be very well connected and bonded with you as a parent.
Yes, wow. Those are really amazing tips and things that are doable. What I like about these conversations with you is that you share tips which are very doable and ऐसा नहीं लगता कि अरे पहाड़ चढ़ना पड़ेगा to connect to my child. So that was amazing. Now before we end, I want you also. I will take this opportunity to ask you to talk about Tattva also because this is our forum, this is your forum, this is my forum. I think this is the perfect opportunity to talk about Tattva. And it's September 1st. We have 1 month to prepare and get ready with our questions and our thoughts and our views. So tell us about Tattva and let's get many more people joining us for Tattva.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Vanna. Yes, let's talk about Tattva. So, to all the viewers who are listening to me and Vanna at the moment, Tattva is a week long conference whose theme is all about mental health this time. And why mental health? Because during this pandemic, all of us saw what was the situation with us and how much issues we faced because we could not accept the situation that came all of a sudden to us. There have been behavioral issues with us adults and behavioral issues with parents as well. There had been a lot of job loss, a lot of things have happened, right? Hence, we want to cater to this subject. Now, what is in store for you at Tatva? Every day, right from 7:30 to 9:30, something or the other thing is going to be keeping you, एकदम जकड़ के रखने वाला प्रोग्राम है, कॉन्फ्रेंस है जो आपको बहुत सारी चीजें आप सीख भी पाओगे, अपने ऊपर इम्प्लीमेंट भी कर पाओगे, and you'll be able to network with people whom you have not known about in this many years. Okay. Apart from there, the team is also planning salon events, chote workshops, which is going to be live telecasted on Facebook directly from Zoom so that you can be a part of those workshops. It would be salon workshops, 35 to 40 minutes long workshops, and fabulous, people are going to conduct those workshops. Again, those are the ones whom आप बार बार उनके वर्कशॉप्स के लिए आप बहुत सारा फीस पे करके जाते हो. वी हैव रिक्वेस्टेड देम टू जस्ट डू इट इन 153 rupees. So for all this stuff, all the salon events, all this 7-day long conference you want to attend, you have to just pay 153 rupees. And that too, why we are raising this money? Because Lajja recently raised funds to educate children in slums. And this money we are going to use for the same purpose, educating children in slums. We have recruited 3 educators in 3 slums areas, and this money is going for the education. Please, खुले दिल से ticket book करिए. 153 is nothing, but please book it and contribute for the education of all those children who has left studies because of this pandemic.
Absolutely. We have Raju who's asking us, where do we book? So, Raju, you can visit our website, and we also have an event page called Tattva 2020 Pratibimb. I'll also share the link over here. But for all of those who are listening to us now live and who will join us or listen to us, listen to the recording, please ensure that you participate in this event called Tattva 2020 Pratibimb, because this is our humble attempt to bring about an awareness about mental health wellness, to bring about an awareness about the triggers that cause mental health trauma, things that we have been watching, we have been the news channels are filled with so many, the recent celebrity case. You open the newspaper, you read of so many articles of students and children who have taken extreme stress because of mental trauma. So there are probably people around us who we know kuch to problem hai, but we are not able to do anything about it. So this event Tattva 2020 is here to educate everybody, to share some information with us and make us a little bit more aware and responsible citizens. So Riddhi, thank you again so much. Riddhi is the founder of Lajja. She has been doing an amazing work with Lajja for the women of Lajja and for the women outside of Lajja. She is a child psychologist. She has worked with so many children. She is a parent coach. She has worked with a million parents, and I know million sounds like a big number, but yes, she has worked with a lot of parents as a professional and also on a personal level. So thank you, Riddhi. Thank you for making time out from the busy schedule for Lajja. And I hope that everybody who's been listening in does does make an attempt to attend Tatva. And with that, we end today's Saat Ki Baat Lajja ke Saath. Thank you,
Thank
Riddhi.
you,
Thank you to
Vandana.
everybody else who's
Thank you
been
so
watching
much.
us. Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Bye bye. Take care.